Hi, everybody. We're back. It's Lisa,
And Danielle.
and we are. You know what we're doing? We're melting. We're melting as as we speak. We are melting. I think it's 116 degrees out right now.
It's 100 and fucking hot.
It's 100, and we're all gonna melt. And I don't know how my air conditioning units are gonna keep up with this. I'm terrified every summer. I'm like, how can they take this? And I can't believe people have them on their roofs here in Arizona.
That was a thing though. Like,
I mean, not anymore, but the older houses.
oh yeah. I mean, that was a thing way back in the day. I remember having to go with my dad to fix his mom's air conditioning unit because there would always be like issues with it. Mm-hmm. So, and it was on top of the house, and ours growing up was on top of the house also.
Yeah, no, that's a bad reason for a lot of different reasons. That's a bad thing for a lot of different reasons, because you've got it on the roof and now you got to climb up there, and that's dangerous in itself. Now add to it, this is only happening in the summer, right? When it's over 100 degrees. So then you're up there
melting
and could pass out and fall right off the roof.
Yeah.
And the unit's metal and it's 100% sun here all the time. So
yeah, touch that.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know how they can work through that, and then the sun's just pounding them all day long.
So it's been hot today. Like we decided to spend the day in the sun.
Yes.
In the pool.
Yeah, which is different.
But in the sun.
Yeah.
And obviously it's like very, very hot out. We were in what we would like to call like bath water. How warm do you think the water was?
I don't know. I don't have a thermometer. I don't think it gets warmer. I know that. It wasn't terrible when I first got in. I felt it get warmer as the day went on, but I would guess in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
It's not in the 90s yet. I think that's why I don't have a thermometer, because I don't want to know. I probably won't get in it, because even to me being wet, if there's any breeze, at least it helps. I don't know. The pool's all right until you just got to be careful, because you don't know when it's too much.
Yeah, I just think I'm super jealous of people that are like traveling to cooler spots. Mm-hmm. Your stepson's in a cooler spot. Mm-hmm. You're going to be traveling this week to cooler weather.
Kind of, but it's so humid right now there.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's heavier. Most of the time when I go in the summer, I'm like, oh, this is off. I'd rather be back home in this. Because you just feel heavy. Everything's heavy and you're wet constantly.
There's nothing safe, though, about here. Like, you literally cannot be outside for longer than, like, 30 minutes.
Yeah, and that's if you are covered by something. If you're just out in the direct sun. We were in the pool, but if we were just sitting outside, we wouldn't be able to stay out there for more than 30 minutes. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely shitty. Yeah. I know our husbands in the line of work that they were in this last week, they were put into some situations that they were left in, like what I ended up calling, I'm like, that was like really dangerous.
Absolutely.
Like to be outside for so long, and while you had water, it was the heat alone, I think, is so dangerous here. And I think that, I'm born and raised here, so I think that a lot of people that might travel to Arizona or move to Arizona, they don't recognize the danger during the summer.
Yeah, it takes a while for you to feel like, oh, I
don't feel good.
Right, yeah, right. You don't start sweating a ton like you do everywhere else where it's humidity. You don't feel like you feel hot, but you don't feel yourself dehydrating because it just evaporates off your skin. You don't really sweat that much.
I think that's part of it, though. Like, think of kids, right? Think of how many kids go out and they play. My kids ride their bikes to and from friends' houses, and it's like, I'm always saying, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. And I tell them, like, the hydration packs, make sure you're using these throughout the day. And if you're not sweating, that's a problem.
Right.
Like, you clearly didn't have enough liquid inside you to even like sweat.
Yeah.
And here it is so dangerous that we put ourselves in those situations, and those poor people that come here and they're like, I'm going to hike. And I'm like, you're actually just stupid.
Yeah.
I know you want to get up at 4:00 in the morning because, by the way, the sun's going to be out by 5.
Yeah.
And then it goes down at 8 or like what, 7:30 right now. And so, yeah, I think that, you know, it's super fun to spend the time in the sun, but even that's like draining. We're sitting around right now, like looking like zombies because we were out in the sun for a couple of hours.
And we were also playing volleyball the whole time. So we were kind of like exercising.
Yeah. And by the way, we got like creamed by our husbands. We are not good water sports people.
And it's mostly just because the water is deep and we're not big, you know, we're not tall people, but we're not short people either. But that's really hard to do when you're, you know, your head's barely above water. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, like I think the water comes up to their like nipple line and it's like to our ears.
Sure. Yeah.
So
it's an advantage already.
Yes. We're clearly at a disadvantage in the water sports.
And then they take further advantage of like looking to see where our weaknesses are, like when we're not paying attention or when there's a bigger gap on one side of us and they're like, oh, let's hit that area, you know.
Yeah.
They don't take it easy on us.
What would your ideal like summer look like if you didn't have to deal with the extreme heat? Like, what would you ideally, like, if it wasn't traveling or getting out of the heat, like just take the hot out of it here. Like, what would you ideally be doing day to day?
I mean, if it was nice out,
yeah,
I mean, all kinds of stuff. And like in the winter, what do we do, right? But in the summer, the things that were kind of off the table for, I guess there's a water parks, but you know what's off the table? Like an amusement park with like roller coasters and stuff. You wouldn't be able to do that in the summertime here. I mean, I guess some people do, but not for long. Can't tolerate that outdoor stuff.
Yeah, and we just don't have that here. And I honestly think we don't have it here because we don't have the weather.
No.
Like we don't have the summer weather for it. Like think about California. California might get like cool, but it doesn't get super cold.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get really hot. It gets hot, but it doesn't get like here.
Right.
And so they have these really great amusement parks. They have, obviously, they have the beach. They have, you know, I wouldn't like, no offense, California folks, but like, I wouldn't want to live there.
No.
But like, we don't have that stuff here because to your point, like no one would want to be outside in this heat for those things.
Or work in that environment.
No.
Or try to touch metal roller coasters to work on them when it's 116. It's just like boiling metal.
Yeah, so I agree. I think more amusement parks would be something I would like definitely like partake in. I think hikes.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that would be a lot more people out. That's for sure. It's also driving to wherever we're going to because you get in your car and that's just awful.
I know, but just imagine we had it here. Like we didn't have to travel for it. So we didn't have to go to like Colorado, California, Utah. Like we didn't have to go to those states that are around us. We had it here. I know obviously we have hiking here, but like all of those things would be so ideal.
Yeah.
If it was just here. And it wasn't like fucking hell hot.
Right. Yeah. And it's hot more than it is cold here. So those things wouldn't even work for like wintertime. It wouldn't be worth them building it because they wouldn't make any money for like 6 months out of the year or more than 6 months, like 9 months. Like
yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah. It's really interesting because, you know, all these years have gone by and they keep talking about this like global warming stuff. Right. And you have all these like people that are like global warming is bullshit. And then you have like the other, like the scientific and the like liberal people, right? Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
And so you have these like three groups of people that are like, yes, it's a thing. Then you have like the liberal people who are like, oh, save the earth. Right. Then you have like scientific people who are like trying to prove what this is and how it's happening.
Sure.
And what is super, super crazy interesting is if you look at our summers and winters this last few years.
Yeah.
And like when it gets really cold and when it's getting really hot,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's actually moving into different months.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not like going to agree with any one part of those groups, but I can say, because I'm born and raised here, that I remember and I think we've talked about this before in our like Halloween episode, but I remember in October, we would have to be like bundled up in our costumes because it was so cold.
What?
Yes, where now it's like so hot during October still.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And it's like this winter, it like we were still damn near in shorts and a t-shirt in December.
It was very short.
Yeah. So it's the strangest thing. And this summer it's like it got hot later in the summer.
Mm-hmm. And it like made up for how late it was.
And then it was like, boom, it's hot. And we haven't had any monsoon, anything, even though the states around us are having like rainstorms. So you would think it would push this way, but it hasn't happened yet. So
yeah, that's what I noticed just since I've lived here since 2005, that I've noticed the heat being much different, except it, like you said, going into different months and lasting longer. But as far as feeling the temperature change dramatically. Anyway, what are they doing? Sorry, guys. Our husbands are on the other side of the window.
Tempting us with pizza.
And making us laugh. So I'm sorry about that. And I lost my train of thought. So
no studio time is ever gone like uninterrupted. Now we just saw a butt crack.
We just got mooned.
It's unreal. No time is sacred time with big men around.
Yeah, definitely not.
No, but it really has.
Yeah,
like
it's not raining anymore.
No, it's not. And we should have had some time. And I know monsoons can go into like August, but like we're in mid-July and we haven't had like a drop of rain. Yeah. And I was showing my husband like 2 days ago, and I was like super excited for this weekend because I kept seeing like the little cloud on my weather thing on my phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, see, no, we're supposed to get rain. And he was like, basically like, look again, stupid. And so I pull it up and I was like, holy shit, what changed?
Oh.
And it was like sunshine and like 117 degrees. And I was like, this is crazy.
I know. Yeah, if we just got a storm, it would honestly, if it did storm, it would just cool it down for like a day and then it would go right back to normal by morning. So it's not like it's that much of a relief, but it does feel like it. It's just like refreshing. And then everything's dying. All the plants are dying. Everything is just struggling. Cars are breaking down. Tires are flying off. You know how we feel about hitting retread on the highway. And I'm just seeing those things fly off trucks constantly.
Well, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal here. And that's, that's the thing, is that like if you're not from here, or even if you are from here and you're like younger and you're not used to like maintaining your own vehicle and you're not paying attention to your tires, like you have to pay attention to your tires here in Arizona. Yes. It's like a thing, like all those tires that you're seeing on the road, it's because people didn't recognize that it's like the change from hot and cold is so drastic here. Mm-hmm. It's like those things. And yeah, like it's going to be me and you. Like we're the ones dodging rocks and tires in the road every day of our lives.
Our own flat tire from your retread.
It's not your fault, folks. But it is really like a real thing here. It's like we are driving on the streets of fucking hell. Yeah. Because of the heat here. Yeah. You can see the heat waves off the street.
It is weird. That is, yes.
So I read this story on Facebook and it could have been like total bullshit, but I read this story on Facebook of this woman in Texas who like cooked a loaf of bread in her,
in her car?
No, in her mailbox. And I was like, oh my gosh, how cute. Like we could do that shit. That's like immediately where my brain went. because it was like her own standalone mailbox. And so if anyone has seen this on Facebook, like
That's
you have
really
to like
funny.
post a picture or something to our Instagram, because I don't know that I can find it again, but
we know we can put a pan on the asphalt and cook an egg.
yeah. And these things those things have been proven that you can do it here, but it was the cutest thing because it was in Texas somewhere. And like I said, it could have been fake, but I was thinking that could totally happen because it was a mailbox covered with bricks. So you know that it's getting hot enough. Sure. Like it's like a pizza oven.
And it still has a metal.
And it was a metal mailbox. And so she had like a little loaf of bread. And we know that bread has yeast, so it will rise in heat. You can make it rise in your garage.
It doesn't need a high temperature.
No. Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like we could do that here. Yeah. Most of us don't have like standalone mailboxes. We have like community mailboxes. So
which are also metal. We probably could.
True. I guess I didn't think about like just sticking it in there.
Yeah. And I wonder if you could even just do it on the asphalt. I mean, not on this, put a pan on the asphalt and then put it on there because it's so hot and that pan's going to get hot so fast. I have the kind of makeup I use. It's cream and it like, they're in these little tins, right? And it's separate, like, because from going in and using it with a brush, tapping my brush into it, it like wears it down the center and then all the product that's left is around the edges, right? So the other day I was trying to even it out. So usually you could just like stick it in a low temperature on the oven just for it to melt. And then you pull it out, let it cool, and it's flattened itself out. You know what I mean? You just get more bang for your buck. It's just easier. And I was like, oh, I can just do this outside. And it did. I put it out there and it melted like within minutes. And that happened to me when I first moved here. It was 2005. It was in the summer. And I was setting up my patio furniture. I was just moved, so I'm unpacking things. And I had these outdoor candles, pillar candles.
Yep.
But they were huge. Like they stood alone. They weren't in anything. They didn't need to be in like a glass, what's that called? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a candle holder. Like it didn't have to be anything. They were standalone, like these pillars. And I set them all out and, then went inside and went on my way about opening other boxes. And then I went out there like a couple hours later, whatever. And they were just puddles of wax all over my pool deck.
Isn't that crazy how quickly that happens?
And it felt hot, but at that time I was like, it's certainly not going to melt anything. It's not going to ruin anything out here. Well, that's a bunch of, and that was the first time I'd ever seen people put carpet on their dashboard.
Yeah. Hey, all you parents out there, how many of you have had a mysterious crayon left in your car, or you yourself have left your gym bag with deodorant in your car? Like, these things are, or chapstick that like blows up. Yes. Like, I
found on Amazon though, a heat resistant chapstick.
What's in it?
I don't know what the hell is in it, but it's a chapstick that's not supposed to melt in your car.
Interesting. I'd be curious to see what's in it because what's in it?
Just don't buy it. Like where they tested it? They tested it here or in Death Valley? Probably not. They're probably saying the average somewhere for some.
Yeah. What's in it?
Yeah, but I want to know what that ingredient is too. I'll look it up. But all kinds of weird things. When I moved here, I was like, oh yeah, I didn't think about this. Like I would never have known. My candles will melt outside, or hey, let's not touch that metal cup that's been sitting in your car for 3 days because you're going to get 3rd-degree burns on your palms.
Right?
You really, really have to use those screen protectors. That's not what they're called, for your windshield. Like
just a windshield.
Yes.
Like my husband's really bad at putting those up. And every time I see my car without one, I'm like, are you kidding me?
You know what it is? Not only is it just hot, but what comes to mind for me is, and I didn't think of this until I bought a car. Now, also, I think it was double-sided because they were trying to sell me something, but it makes sense. Now with the screens, they sit high up, right? That's a computer. And the heat is just pelting on that, hitting it constantly without it being reflected off with one of those, what are those called? Windshield? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I called it screen protector.
The same thing.
Same thing. Anyway, the guy was trying to get me to get the warranty on my electronics in the car, like the heads-up display.
I've never heard that before.
And the screen, because they all do. Not all of them. Some of them are lower, like in the dash. mine, and I
Mine
think
pop up.
yours,
Yeah.
it's up high where the sun hits when it's coming in the car. And it's a computer.
Yeah.
They could overheat and malfunction from damage from the sun.
Well, look at what your phone does in the car.
Exactly.
Like here in Arizona, I don't know about all of you guys, but here, if our phones get too hot, get your iPhone or Samsung, whatever you have, too hot, and it will literally put on the display like phone is too hot to work or some stupid shit.
It talks about itself in the third person. It says iPhone will resume working once the temperature has gone back to a normal
Yeah,
degree.
and there's like a thermometer that pops up on the phone. Like it's done working until it cools down. So I can only imagine that the computer screens in our cars are like, they're like done until it cools down.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. It's too fucking hot here. And somehow this global warming thing like needs to get figured out.
Yeah. Because I think it's just here right now. And wherever the icebergs are.
Basically.
That's clearly a problem too.
Yeah, like we ended up in the one part of the world that's like the hottest, I think.
Besides Death Valley. But no one lives there. So it's different. We're the hottest place that we're residing in.
Because they named it appropriately. They weren't like, Arizona.
I know.
Arizona sounds great.
It does.
And we have like beautiful cactus and these wonderful mountains. And so, yeah, of course people wanted to settle here.
Sure. It was probably wintertime. They're like, this is great. We're not frozen. We're not having to shovel anything. Let's stay here. And then summer came around. They're like, oh, damn.
Yeah, we have amazing winters. But we realistically, we have really nothing cool here because I honestly think it's like the summer. You cannot go out and do anything during the summer. Forget summer sports because no one can play a sport outside during the summertime unless you want to risk dying.
Yeah. Yep.
I did an inside sport during the summer, so I was always okay.
They're making water parks. They're building a water park, or they've already built it. What's the Wolf Place? It's an indoor water park because you can't have an
outdoor. The Great Wolf Lodge. Yeah, it's like a hotel. Yeah, but then I think in the East Valley over on my side of town, there's supposed to be this like huge, it's like a surf, like where you can surf.
Wow. Like a wave.
Like a wave, but it's like surfing, like actual surfing. I don't know that it's even like fully broken ground yet, but it's been planned for a little while. And like those types of things are going to be cool, but like, really, we got a fake ocean? Because really?
Yep. It's just going to smell like an indoor pool.
Yeah.
You're just going to hit with chlorine
and stinky armpits and like famunda cheese and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. You don't have to worry about like
ball sweat,
mildew on the floor.
No.
When you're walking around.
Surfer dude ball sweat. That's what it's going to smell like.
That's true. Yeah. And you'll see a lot of things you want to see because the waves are going to take off the swimsuits.
I know. And it's probably not going to be like California surfer dude. It's going to be like Arizona surfers that we don't even know what that means.
Yep.
But
a lot of people are going to get hurt thinking that, oh, okay, I got this. And they've never seen an ocean in their life.
Yep. So there we are.
Ocean ever.
Here we are. That's what Arizona has to offer. No, in all reality, Arizona's cool as shit, but it is hot. And
we're complaining to you. And most of you are here, so you know.
Yeah.
That's how we're feeling today. So that's why we're talking about it. It's on our minds.
We look like zombies. We sat in a pool of bath water for a few hours and
pelted with volleyballs.
Lost pretty dramatically actually. So we'll leave that there. Like, move here if you want to one day and just come prepared with ice bags.
Yeah, but guess what? Those aren't gonna last long either. So whatever you put it in, you have to pre-cool. You can't bring your hot cooler you keep in the garage. You can't just pour ice in that. It's going to last all of 30 seconds. And so you got to pre-cool that in the house for a couple of days. And then you can put cold stuff in it. And then you got a chance. But then don't leave that cooler in your car for too long. Nothing that claims to withstand temperatures, when they put that label on things,
can't actually do it here.
No, yeah. It's lies.
Yeah, it wasn't made for Arizona.
No.
No.
And I learned the hard way when I first moved here also that, and I used to drink soda. I used to like Diet Coke with vanilla, I think it was. It was vanilla, but I think it was Diet Coke. I don't think it was regular because I never liked regular Coke either.
Yeah.
But I left, it was a plastic bottle. It wasn't even like a can. And I left it in the car.
Oh, that shit'll blow up.
It blew up
Yep.
and my car smelled like vanilla Coke for I can't tell you how long. I had it cleaned so many times professionally and it still smelled like it. And now I can't stand the soda because, well, one, I don't drink soda, but right after that, I couldn't drink it anymore because the smell made me nauseous because it's all I smell when I get in my car.
That's too bad because Sonic used to make a bomb drink like that. Remember?
Really?
Yeah.
I never had it.
Oh man. Yeah. Darn.
That's funny. Yeah, now vanilla, nope. No thanks.
Darn.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Well, we're going to leave that with you right there. Stay safe, drink plenty of water, and don't visit Arizona unless you absolutely have to because it is fucking hot here right now.
Pre-hydrate like 3 days in advance and maybe you'll have a chance.
Send us some of your fun summer pictures of what you guys are doing on your vacations or family vacations. You can post them to our Instagram page at lifeagency.wtf, and we will talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.